Hey, welcome to Apostolic Praise 401. 12 different songs with myself, with Richard Smith, and we're really excited to have you with us. In this course, we're really going to be going over 12 different Pentecostal songs, some fast, some slow, and I'm just basically going to play them through probably about 3 times, and we're going to, after that, go into a discourse and an explanation of what all we're doing in these songs, and just go over some cool substitutions that you can play in these songs. And of course, the roles and the tricks and fills you'll learn can be applied to any key. We highly recommend that you would actually go through and practice. Of course, like for instance, we'll learn a song today in the key of F, and I would recommend that you go through and learn those fills and those runs that we're going to learn in this key with this song in other keys, and also transfer the fills and runs to other songs as well. Don't just learn them in one song and then one key, and then you're stuck to always playing just those fills in that one key. A good musician knows how to play in every single different key. So take those fills and those runs and apply them to each key on the keyboard, all 12 different keys. So, all right, great. So we're going to go over some more advanced, cooler, contemporary songs, some faster stuff. But the first one we're going to start off with, we're starting off with it for a reason. There's so many things you can do with the old songs. There's so many different fills and runs you can do with the old songs, and so many of the old songs follow so many different, so many patterns that are just commonly used in almost every song that they're really perfect for example songs. A lot of the newer songs, sometimes it can be tough to actually throw and diversify some different chords in there. But hopefully what I'm going to show you will help you, be a blessing to you, to your ministry. That's what this is all about. And hopefully we can make you a better musician and better piano player after this course is finished. So the song we're actually going to learn today is Amazing Grace. Now, of course, I'm sure you know how to play Amazing Grace, but we're going to put some different chords in here, some different fills and runs. Nothing too crazy as far as probably the fancy little runs of the keyboard and all that. I'm going to focus mainly more on just little fills, the little stuff that you can do, and the little chords that you can just throw in that maybe you're not familiar with, that will be a help and a blessing to you. So, okay, so I'm going to play it through a couple times, then we're going to go do some explanations and some walkthroughs of the song. All right. Okay, welcome back. So let's do an explanation and go into some fine details of some of the neat tricks and fills that we just put into Amazing Grace. So I'll just give you a forewarning. I don't know everything that I did. It's hard to do a play-by-play without just going back and rewatching the video together. What I would like to do is just briefly just touch over some of the things that I remember doing, and hopefully this will be a blessing to you and will really help you out. So basically what we did, of course, we started off with just our plain 4 or 5 chord, and I've added as many notes again. I love really full chords, so I love it when it sounds like I'm playing about 15 different notes. A little bit of exaggeration there, but I love it when the more notes the better, in my opinion. So my right hand, I've got 5 different notes we're playing instead of just a plain B flat over C. We're actually doing F, B flat, C, D, F. Okay, and then in our left hand we've got an octave. So that's how we're starting off. And of course, one fill you really want to put in memory is the 5-6-1. That will probably be your favorite fill because you can just use it everywhere. A little bit of redundancy there. Okay, you can use it as an octave fill, or you can just use it as a. There's all kind of stuff, all kind of fills you can do with that. And of course, those notes are just part of the major pentatonic scale of F, so that's kind of the reason it sounds a little bit better there. The next chord we do is we just do a E flat over F, and you'll notice there's a couple of different substitutions we do here throughout the song. The second time through, we actually go and make it a C minor 7, B flat, E flat, G. Okay. After that, see this chord here. Now this chord is one we use a lot. You can use it going to a major or a minor chord. But we use it especially in slow songs when doing that 1 to 4 progression. Just a little walk down there. What it basically is the way I think about it is a B9 with a sharp fifth. Okay, and then walk down to the full chord. You can also think about it as an F9 with a sharp fifth as well. F9 with a sharp fifth. So it's kind of interesting how that works. It's both an F and a B9 with a sharp fifth at the same time. So a little bit crazy augmented stuff there for you. And instead of going back to the 1 chord here, what I do is I go to a B fully diminished to an F over C. The F2 in the right hand, playing as many chords as we can, as many notes as we can once again. To another fully diminished chord. Now on this one, you'll notice the bass is really interesting because you can either do an A on the bass or you can do a C sharp. You can do either one. Okay, going to that D minor. All right, we go to that chord. What I'm basically doing, this is kind of how I think of it. I think of it because the D minor 7 is basically an F over D. What I do is I turn into an F2. Alright, it makes sense anywhere you have an F chord in the right hand, you should be able to add that 2 and make it some kind of pretty suspended 2 chord, right? And it works. Okay? So G, A, C, F. Okay, and what we did there, this little run here is one of my favorites. After I heard that, I had to go home and figure out what that was after I heard somebody do that. And basically just a little intro walk up to the 2 chord there. Okay? So, G9, but I do this. So, it's E, F, E, D, E, F, G, A. Okay? And that's basically the main chord. And it's followed by a C, which this looks like a B flat with the G on top. Then you resolve that F to E, make it a C9. Okay, or what you can do is you can change that G9 to a G minor 7 or minor 9, and then Okay, great. So welcome back. Let's go over some more really neat stuff about Amazing Grace that we can put into this song. And once again, if this is way too advanced for you, please I recommend taking some of the other courses, the lower level courses, AP 103, 201, 301, and there's a lot of neat stuff in those courses too. Hopefully this is not too advanced for some of you, and hopefully it's not too easy for others of you. So I tried to throw in some left-hand chords too. I may not get a chance in this lesson to run over everything that I did in those 5 or 6 times that I actually played the song through. So very quickly, let's run over what we've done so far. So. Okay, then we followed up with a. Okay, but that's the same chord we just used going down to B, just on a different chord. Okay, it's E, A flat, B flat, D. It's a G flat 9 with a sharp 5th. You can also think about it as a C 9 with a sharp 5th. Same thing, same chords, different inversion. Okay, F major 9, back to that. D minor 9, C minor 9. Okay, A, D, E flat, G over B. Another walk down chord you can use, almost like the other one, but you've got a D instead of a C sharp. Sounds a little more jazzy. Okay, same chord there. Okay, what we basically did there is we're on the C. Just did a left hand walk down. My favorite D. D minor chord there, G, A, C, F, kind of like F2. Okay, and here we have a little walk down, G, B flat, D flat, F. Now this is part of a bigger walk down that we use a lot. 5 chord, 1 chord, 4 chord. Okay, we use that chord a lot. Like for instance, we used it in Jesus, You Center My Joy. Basically, how I think of it, and you may have an easier way to think about it, but how I think of it is an E flat 9. Okay, and then you just walk down the left hand to a D flat, and you're still keeping that E flat 9. So I think about it, anytime I think about that chord, I think of it as your flatted 7th chord that you're using at the end of a song. So go to your 5, 6, 2, 5, 1 progression. Typical slow song ending. So that's how I think about it. So that's basically what we're doing here is E flat 9, but we're using a different inversion. Okay, there's a 4-1 version and a shortcut inversion. For the 9ths, we use either one, depending which one sounds better. Okay, so we're using it over D flat, so E flat 9 over D flat. That's how I would think of that chord. And then F over C. Alright, so let's do that again. C. Alright, that's another one you want to lock in your memory. Basically you're doing a C, E, A, doing a chromatic walk down, B, E flat, A flat, B flat, D, G. We do that a lot when we're going, like doing a 4th movement. Like for instance, if we're playing a song in the key of F, we're going to go to our 4 chord. Or let's do it in C, it'll be maybe a little less confusing. So in the key of C, we're going to go to our 4 chord. So it's kind of like a little shortcut fill you can use when you're going to your 4 chord from 1 to 4, or of course like we're doing here from 5 to 1. So okay, here's our ending chord. G, A, C, F, the same chord we use over D minor. Hey there, this is Apostolic Praise 101 Vocals. This is a crash course in vocals. In this course, we're going to be teaching you how to teach other people their parts for different songs how the soprano, how the alto, how the tenor part work in music. I do the parts at our church here in Georgia. I've also done the parts at other churches, and it's something that you can learn how to do, something that you can learn how to teach yourself to listen to songs and to tell what the parts are doing. That's basically how I learned. I listened to different songs, different CDs. I sat down at the piano and I would pick out the part of the soprano, write it down, pick out the part of the alto, write it down, pick out the part of the tenor. Eventually I did that enough to where I got to the place where I didn't have to write it down, but I could actually hear it. And it's something that only comes with practice and with also an understanding of some basic chord structure and music theory. In this course, we're going to examine a little bit of both. If you have any questions, of course, feel free to email me or to give me a call, and our information is on our website at apostolicpraise.schoolofmusic.com. Okay, great. So let's get into choir vocals. How do they work? What are the different parts? What are important to learn? Pretty much every style of music, Southern gospel, black gospel, you need to know how to teach choir parts. You need to know how they work if you're going to not just sing unison with your choir. And basically the way it works is you have soprano. Now any one of the different three main parts can be a lead part. And what I mean by that is it's the part that's singing the melody of the song. It's the lead of that song. For the most part, soprano is usually the lead part. They're usually the ones that are singing the melody, but occasionally tenor, more often than alto, occasionally tenor will also be the lead part. In other words, they're singing the melody for the song. We're actually going to look at a song here shortly, just to give you a quick example of how this works. Now, usually how it works is the soprano is layered at, I think like this, at level 1. The alto is the part right below the soprano, and then the tenor is the part right below the alto. There's three main parts. If you know anything about music or about chords, a chord has three main parts, and what you're basically doing when you're teaching a choir to sing a part, or teaching a small group of people to sing parts, you're basically teaching them to all sing a chord together, whether that's a major chord, whether that's a minor chord. And there is a small difference. In this course, we're going to kind of take it a little bit slowly. We're going to try to just start from the ground up, and we're going to teach you also what major and minor chords are, because some of you may not have any idea what those are. Basically, in music, you have two main types of chords. You have major and minor chords. Major are the ones that sound happy. So, for example, if you had a C major chord, and I'm going to assume you know the notes on the piano here. If you don't, feel free to sign up for Apostolic Praise 101, which is our crash course in piano. It's very important to have basic concepts of how music works and how chord structure works before you go to teaching parts. So you have a C major chord here, which is C, E, G. Okay, so basically how it would work is the soprano, if they were singing this chord all together, they would be singing the G, the alto would be right below them singing the E, and the tenor would be right below that singing the C. Okay, if you were playing a minor chord of some sort, like a D minor for example, the sopranos could potentially be singing an A. If the sopranos are singing an A, and you want to sing parts, you know automatically, if you know that you're playing the song, you know the song uses a D minor chord, you can know automatically that the F is going to be the alto note and that the D is going to be the tenor note. Now, how do you know that? You know that because you're playing the chord the musicians are playing is a D minor, and so it's stacked, it's layered. The soprano is always going to be the highest note, the alto is always going to be the next note down, and the tenor is always going to be the next note down. Okay, so let's take a quick song here. For example, let's learn Can't Stop Praising His Name. Very common, popular song that most people know. If you don't know it, feel free to YouTube it. Once again, it's Can't Stop Praising His Name, and it's a faster song. But the reason we're going to look at it is it's very simple in nature. It's going to give you just a basic concept and example of how parts work in church music. And we'll be back here in just a minute to show you this song. Okay, great. So welcome back. We're going to learn Can't Stop Praising His Name. Now I'm going to run through the chords of this, and like I said before, you may or may not know how chords work and how to play chords. If not, I would really advise taking AP 101 because it's important to know how AP 101 Crash Course in Piano. It's important to know how music works. If you don't want to take the entire course, at the very, very least, you need to take the first 2 free lessons, which are completely free. Just go sign up and fill out the registration form on our website. But you really need to get a basic concept of how chords work. At least take the first 2 lessons, which once again are free, and those will teach you the basic concepts of how major and minor chords work. I don't want to bore anybody who's wanting to learn how to teach vocals, but already knows how to play piano, which most folks probably will if you're going to learn vocals. So Can't Stop Praising His Name. Basic chord of this song, basically the chord progression is, can't stop praising His name. Starts on D minor. We're in the key of D minor. You're going to go down to B flat, to G minor, okay, to A, and then back to D minor. And some people may play this a little bit differently, but that is the basic chord structure and chord progression of the song. So D minor, can't stop praising His name. B flat, can't stop praising His name. Can't stop praising His name, Jesus. Okay, so basically here's how it's going to work. The soprano is going to sing the A note here, just as an example. There's different ways you can do the parts, but just to keep it simple, the soprano would be, can't stop praising His name, I just can't stop praising His name, I just. And you're going to notice the chords are going to match, for the most part, what the parts are doing. But you're going to go, just can't stop praising His name, Jesus. Okay, so you have soprano, just pretty much on the same note the whole time. But can't stop praising His name, I just can't stop praising His name, I just can't stop praising His name, Jesus. Okay, the alto is going to be right below that. Can't stop praising His name, I just can't stop praising His name, I just can't stop praising His name, Jesus. One more time. Can't stop praising His name, I just can't stop praising His name, I just can't stop praising His name, Jesus. Now you'll notice if you're an alto, that's really low for you. I'm singing it lower as an octave lower because I don't have a very high voice here. If you're an alto, you'll actually be singing it higher. Can't stop, can't stop, can't stop. You actually be up there, the ladies, if you're an alto. You won't be can't stop, which is where I'm actually singing it. Can't stop. That's where you need to be, up there, okay? If you're a tenor, you're going to be right here. Can't stop praising His name, I just can't stop praising His name, I just can't stop praising His name, Jesus. Alright? Can't stop praising His name, I just can't stop praising His name, I just can't stop praising His name, Jesus. A little bit high for tenors, but not too bad. So you'll be at that D. Once again, soprano A, alto F, tenor D. I kind of give you a quick example of how the chords layer. Okay, now there are a lot of different other parts we could go into. We have the baritone, you have the bass part. That's not the point of this course. The point of this course is to just teach you the 3 main parts to help people out that are wanting to start a choir, that have no idea what they're doing, and just need a little bit of extra help. A lot of songs, you'll notice, are not going to have parts, or there will be a mix and a match. Part of the song will be unison, part of the song will be parts. A good example of this is Here I Am to Worship. You're basically, the verse 1, light up the world, you step down in the darkness, open my eyes, let me see. That's all unison. You're all singing in unison there. Everybody's singing the exact same note. So, light of the world, you step down into darkness. You're all singing the exact same note. It's all going to be unison, whether you're soprano, whether you're alto, whether you're tenor. The tenors obviously are going to be a little lower because they're not ladies, don't have high voices. They'll be down here, light of the world, instead of up here with the ladies, with the sopranos and the altos. Okay, so, but once you get out of the verse 1, you're going to notice it goes into a chorus, and the chorus is going to be parts. And the way you can hear that is, you'll hear the separation of parts when you listen to the song on a CD or a tracker, choir, somebody else singing it, and you'll hear in the parts, you'll hear that, okay, the sopranos, the altos, the tenors, they're not singing all the same note here. So it's not unison, it's all parts. And usually the sign that we give for that is just simple. When you want to go to parts, you hold up 3 fingers. At least we do at our church. Unison, you can do whatever you want. We do 2 fingers like this, like a U, to show that everybody's singing together, everybody's singing in unison together. You can make up and do whatever signs you want to do. That's just how we use it. So that should give you a basic idea of how choir parts work. Of course, additional lessons, we're going to show you a couple of different songs, more advanced stuff than just Can't Stop Praising His Name. But that's the basic gist of how it works. And of course, if you have any questions, feel free to email me or call me, visit our website, and once again, we'll see you here back in lesson 2.